All right, welcome back to the channel. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about my rigid portable vac, shop vac extractor, how to go between using it as a dry vac and then switching over to the full-blown extractor really seamlessly, so you can have a machine that's operating 2-for-1, extractor and vacuum. We're also going to cover the different extractor heads that are available on the market, the pros and cons with each of them, my favorite of course, and the tools and products that make extracting go really easy, really effective, and get awesome results. If you're interested in that, you're in the right place. Let's get started. A question I get asked all the time: once I modify my rigid portable vac into a full-blown shop vac extractor, what am I going to do for my dry vacuum needs? The answer is very simple. We're going to have a separate hose just for dry vacuuming. We'll have a dry vacuum filter. First, we'll put the dry vacuum filter in. Put the dry vacuum hose on. We'll go ahead and do the entire interior, upholstery, whatever it is you're going to take care of. Get all the dry vacuuming done first. Next, we'll go ahead and dump out the canister. Remove the dry vac filter. Put the wet vacuum filter on. Now, another thing people ask too, why do I need a wet vacuum filter? What's the point? The point is, when you have this thing with a decent amount of water in it and it starts sloshing around, the machine is going to suck the water and spit it out the back. You're going to have a mess all over the place. It's just way cleaner with that wet vac filter in there. Once we get the wet vacuum filter in there, we'll plug our extractor modification kit onto the machine, and now we're full-blown extracting. Now, once we're done with the extraction process, we want to go ahead and dump out the container, give it a quick wipe down, leave the lid off. Let's let that thing dry out before we need it again. It doesn't take long. Then we'll put our dry vacuum mod on, and when we get to the next detail, we'll be ready for some more extracting. Is this a perfect solution? No, it's not. I mean, ideally, if you had a vacuum and an extractor, that's going to be cool. But I know you guys on a budget are looking for a way to get the most out of the machine. This is a really neat, capable machine, and this is going to help you out. The next big question I get asked: can you use this kit with hot water? The answer is yes. Screw it into a hose bib that has hot water. My hot water connection here in my garage is right on my hot water heater. That thing works awesome. But you can use a wash sink, any type of bib that has hot water on it. Now, it's not required to use hot water. Cold water works pretty darn good, but hot will work a little bit better if you have access to it. Now I want to talk about the different heads that you can use on your extractor to get the job done, the pros and cons to them. But before I do that, I want to bring some context to it. A lot of you already know this, but for those of you that don't, I want to talk a little bit about the extractor process. When you're extracting, the whole point is to put chemical onto the surface, get it agitated, get the dirt to come up, and then take the extractor to remove not only the dirt, but the product also, leaving the fabric super clean. Now, there's several ways you can do this. If you just want it to be easy, one product, spray it on, agitate, suck it out, call it done. That's going to get you 95% of the way there, and it's super easy. But let's talk about the more in-depth, more serious process for those really stained seats and people that want to do the best job they possibly can. There's a product, Terminator. Now, this is an enzyme spot and stain remover. This is used for pre-treating those super heavy, dirty, spotted up interiors to where you're like, man, I don't know if this is going to come clean. Or it could be like an organic stain in there, like milk or something that has a smell to it, and just make it a lot easier to get those stains out. It'll remove those smells too. After we've pre-treated, let that soak in for a little bit, we'll come back behind with the carpet bomber. Now, this is a citrus-based cleaner. It's biodegradable. It's pretty darn safe. I wouldn't drink it, but it's safe enough that we don't have to worry about it. Today, we're going to be using an electric foam sprayer. This is an Amazon model. It's not an ultra high-end one, but it works pretty good, and I wanted to test it out and try it today. Carpet bomber can be used at 100% strength, or you can dilute it down as much as you want to match the desired outcome that you have. If it's super, super dirty, maybe 100%. If it's barely dirty at all, dilute it way down. And I have dilution ratio over on my website that'll help you out with that. So again, we spot treated, we come over, we put the carpet bomber on. After a couple minutes dwell time, we don't want it to dry, we just want it to have time to activate. We'll come back behind with a drill brush. Now, I would say right off the bat, Get yourself a quality drill if you're doing a lot of this. Cheap ones work great, but they're just not that great long term. This is a great drill to Milwaukee. Also, I got a good drill brush on here. Now, what makes a good drill brush? It's got to be stiff enough to do the job, but not stiff enough to harm the fabric, and that's a key component. If you're interested in these products, I got links in the description so you can check out the exact one. But this drill brush works awesome. We'll drill brush it around, agitate the fabric. We don't have to go too crazy on this, but just enough to make sure we loosened up that dirt. Then we're going to come back behind with the extractor. Now, the way an extractor works is it's got a lever on it. I pull the lever, water comes out of it in a nice fan pattern. Now I'm applying water and extracting at the same time, meaning I'm applying water and vacuuming out the product, the dirt, and water's coming out with it. I'm going to keep doing passes with the water activated until I see relatively clear water coming through the window here. That's important. After I see relatively clear water coming through, I'm going to continue making passes until I can't suck any more water out. That shows that I've got all the product out and all the water that I can possibly get out of it. From there, it's going to have to air dry. I mean, you'll see the reason why some of these aren't so good now that you understand that. The final part of the product and the product line is finisher peroxide treatment. Now, what this does is you spray it on the fabric. It helps with the stain blocking so future stains don't come back. It also continues with that enzyme treatment to where it'll kill any smells that are in the fabric. And it doesn't leave any residue behind. So this is literally a finishing product. Nothing needs to be done to it, just let it dry. So that's the 3-step process. Now it's time to talk about the extractor heads. Now the most common one people ask about, why can't I just use my shop vac head on this? Now, based on what we just talked about, yes, you can spray water on manually because there's no water sprayer here, but you could spray it on manually with a sprayer and you could go ahead and try to suck it out, but you would have no idea how much water is coming out, how much foam is coming out, meaning there's still chemical in there, and you would never see when all the dirt's gone. So you're pretty much in the blind with this, and you're just looking at the surface of the fabric for your answers. The next one would be the head from the Bissell Spot Clean Pro. Now, it does require a small adapter here that comes with the detailing hose down here in this kit, but it does have a window. It's got a little brush for some agitation. It's small. This is kind of a powerful vac for a head this size. Another thing with the head size, we wouldn't want a gigantic head without enough power to pull through it. So the head size kind of has to match your equipment. I believe this is kind of small because the Bissell Spot Clean Pro is a much weaker suction than the rigid portable vac. This will do everything I talked about, but it's in a small package and it does not produce water out of the sprayer because there's no water sprayer on here. But you would see it coming up. You could manually spray water and you could get this done. Is it efficient? No, it's not, but it will do the job. The next step up is your typical Amazon model, and I see these all over the place. It's kind of an acrylic here. I feel like it's reasonably tough. But man, if you drop this on the pavement, it's gonna chip, it's gonna nick, it's gonna do its thing. But again, now we got a nice clear window here. We got a reasonable width that matches the Mighty one, which I like. Nice clear window to see what we're doing. It does plug right into the hose perfectly here. And you're about 50% in business because we can't apply water with this. Again, we'd be manually spraying with something. It would just increase the workload and the efficiency of this process would go way down. If you were just trying to do like one spot on a rug or a really small area, but if you were trying to do a whole vehicle, this would just be too much work. Now we make our way up to the one that's expensive, and I know everybody complains about this, but it is acrylic, but it's commercial grade. It's got this like cutting board style thing on the end that makes it really tough. When this one's in play, now we have our water hooked up to the hot water heater like I talked about. We got a full actuating sprayer here. We can apply water as we want to, and we can see it coming up through this window. It's a perfect width for auto detailing. This one just works insane, and I feel like you're gonna get a really long life out of it. I've had this one now for at least a year and a half, maybe even longer, and I've beat it, dropped it, drug it around the garage. It still looks and functions brand new. Now that we've covered the basics of the extractor, the tools, and the processes, I wanted to do the whole entire extracting of the bench of this seat just to show you all these things in action and how great they work. Hopefully you enjoy it.
We're going to start the process with a good thorough vacuuming to get everything we possibly can out of the fabric and off the surface. Next, we'll follow up with the Terminator. We want to spot treat to try to bring along that cleaning process and help kill some of those smells. Now it's time to add the carpet bomber through my electric foam sprayer. We'll put a decent amount on. You don't have to put this much, I just wanted to demonstrate it. Now we'll use the drill brush. The goal here is to agitate the fabric just enough to remove the dirt, soil, spots, and stains, but not enough to destroy the fabric, so you have to kind of gauge out on your own. But I like to start the process by going up and down. I like to overlap my passes by about 50%. Now I'll do a crosshatch pattern by going side to side. This ensures that you're getting even agitation here, so when you do the extracting, you're not going to see any weird lines across the fabric or anything like that. Now it's time to pull all that dirt and chemical out of the fabric. The first couple passes, you're going to want to pull the water trigger and then just try to remove as much product as you can. Here's the thing, if you're struggling to get all the soap out of the fabric, then you use too much soap. Next time you do it, back off on the soap a little bit. We're going to repeat this process until we end up with nice, clear, clean water coming through the extractor head. Now we'll continue across the seat with some dry passes to try to remove every bit of water we can out of that fabric. Now I like to follow up with a clean microfiber towel. This does two things. It helps remove the last little bit of water out of the fabric, and it also pushes the grain in the same direction so that it looks nice also. Now it's time to apply the finishing product. We're just going to spray this on, let it set. No need to wipe it off, we'll just let it dry. So now let's take care of the machine and the tools. Let's dump out the rigid portable vac. Give it a quick wipe down. It doesn't have to be perfect. We'll let this air dry here in a minute. Now we'll remove the filter. Dip it in some clean water. This is going to remove that degreaser off of your foam filter so that it lasts a lot longer. Now we'll spray some of our cleaning product onto our drill brush and agitate it in a small amount of water to get that brush back to looking brand new. I like to run it in forward and reverse so that we don't get any bent bristles.
So that's it for the video today. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully that makes more sense with that rigid portable vac shop vac extractor kit, and you can utilize it in your setup. This is great for homeowners, DIY detail type people that are just doing their own details. I would say pro to semi-pro level extracting. Again, I always recommend if you're doing this full time, get a commercial machine, but this is a great fit for most people. It's an awesome kit, and all this stuff is going to serve you well. Thanks for stopping by. Oh man, this stuff is awesome. We'll see you on the next one. Yeah.